What's up, Broncos Country family? What if I told you there's a guy on the Denver Broncos roster who's literally training the player who's going to take his job? Would you believe it? Well, family, this is happening right now in Dove Valley. An 8-year veteran in the league, with no contract extension in sight, is about to become a free agent in 2026, and instead of protecting his position, he looks at the rookie who was drafted to replace him and says, "Go ahead, take my spot." That's right, you heard it. And what's behind this attitude? Well, Broncos Country, what you're about to discover today is going to touch your hearts. Stick with me until the end, because this is one of those stories that will make you understand why this team is different from all the others. Let's get straight to the point. John Franklin Myers, number 98. Defensive end who came to the Denver Broncos in 2024 from the Jets, and has since been that guy who does the dirty work, you know? The one who doesn't show up much in the highlights, but who's there on the defensive line, holding down the scheme, making blocks, pressuring the quarterback, stopping the run. The guy who makes the machine work. And here's the detail that's going to make you stop and think. Franklin Myers is in the last year of his contract. That's right. He's going to be a free agent in 2026. And according to inside sources, the Denver Broncos front office hasn't started any conversations about a contract extension with him. Nothing. Zero. Total silence. Now imagine the situation, family. You're a veteran, 8 seasons in the NFL, built your career from absolute zero. The guy didn't win a single game in high school, was a 0-star recruit. Came out of an FCS program called Stephen F. Austin and became a 4th-round draft pick. Was cut by the Rams right after playing in a Super Bowl, was released by the Jets, and now he's here at the Denver Broncos doing his job, holding down the fort, and the team hasn't even called to talk about the future. Then comes April 2025, the draft, and what do the Denver Broncos do? They trade picks to move up in the 3rd round and select who? Syvion Jones. A promising defensive end with all the physical tools, all the potential, but still raw, still learning, and everybody knows what the play is here. Jones was drafted to be Franklin Myers' replacement when he leaves in 2026. Now tell me something, Broncos Country. What would you do in this situation? If you were the veteran with your career in its final stretch, your job threatened, your family depending on you getting that next fat contract on the market, would you embrace the rookie who came to replace you? Would you open up your playbook, teach your tricks, reveal your secrets? Most guys in the NFL wouldn't do that. And look, nobody would judge them. It's a brutal business. It's pure competition. It's every man for himself. But John Franklin Myers? This guy is different. Since training camp, since the first days when Syvion Jones arrived in Dove Valley, Franklin Myers pulled the kid aside and said, "Come here. I'm going to teach you everything." And it wasn't just talk. It wasn't just that superficial locker room conversation. It was real work. It was daily mentoring. It was taking the rookie by the hand and saying, "Look how I read this play. Look how I position my body. Look how I study the offensive lineman in front of me. Look how I identify where the offense is going to slide." And you know what Franklin Myers told Jones? He said, "Go out there and take my job." Let that sink in for a second. A guy who's fighting for his own future, telling his replacement, "Go ahead and take me out of here." What kind of character is that? What kind of man does that? Syvion Jones, the rookie himself, said, "This shows who Franklin Myers really is." The veteran doesn't put football above his teammates. He doesn't value money or fame more than helping a brother grow. And look, Jones knows the situation. He was drafted to literally take Franklin Myers' place. The front office made that clear. And even so, the veteran doesn't care. He just wants the kid to get better. Franklin Myers explained it his way. He said he always sees veterans, especially in the old days, who guard their secrets, who don't tell rookies how they got where they are, what mentality is needed, what the tricks of the trade are. And he understands, man. He understands it's a business. But Franklin Myers is different. He thinks like this. If they drafted you and you're better than me, or if the situation calls for it, you're going to play. Simple as that. And what's his role as a veteran? Pay it forward. His veterans did that for him when he was a rookie. Now it's his turn. Because it's not player versus player. It's not player versus coach. It's player with player, player with coach. It's team. It's family. And look at his logic, family. If Jones is going to be his teammate, Franklin Myers is doing a disservice to the kid, to Jones's family, to the entire team, and to himself, if he doesn't put the rookie in the best possible position to succeed. That's the mentality. That's the DNA that Vance Joseph and Sean Payton are building in Denver. It's not about ego. It's not about protecting your territory. It's about elevating everyone around you. It's about making the team better. It's about Broncos Country. Now let's talk a bit about Syvion Jones. The kid was inactive for almost every game this 2025 season. Only one game did he suit up. And that makes sense, right, family? He's developing behind one of the best defensive lines in the NFL. Zach Allen, DJ Jones, Malcolm Roach, Franklin Myers. This group is destroying offenses week after week. Jones spent most of his career at LSU playing on the outside as a defensive end on the edge. But here at the Denver Broncos, Vance Joseph's scheme requires him to play more inside, in the interior of the line. And that comes with its challenges. It's a complicated transition, requires different technique, different strength, different reads. And guess who's teaching him all of this? That's right, John Franklin Myers. Their physiques are practically identical. Franklin Myers is 6'4" and 285 pounds. Jones is 6'5" and 288 pounds. They're built the same way. So when Franklin Myers teaches, it's not abstract theory. It's practical. It's applicable. It's real. Jones said he tries to remember everything Franklin Myers says. Everything. Every detail, every tip, every adjustment. And what specifically does Franklin Myers teach? Reading the game. Most offensive lines do what they call slide protection. It's when they slide in one direction to block the pass rushers. Franklin Myers taught Jones to watch how the offensive linemen point to identify who the Mike linebacker of the defense is. And from there, Jones can identify the Mike, too, and that reveals which way the offensive line is going to slide. Seems simple, but this is veteran knowledge. This is what separates an average player from an elite player, and Franklin Myers is handing it over on a silver platter. While Jones evolves in the shadows, Franklin Myers and the rest of the defensive line dominate on the field. The defensive line coordinator, Jamar Cain, who by the way coached Jones at LSU in 2022, said Franklin Myers' confidence in the run game has grown tremendously since his first season in Denver. Cain spent the entire 2024 season just watching Franklin Myers' positioning against the run, correcting, adjusting, coaching. And now? Now he can watch the group as a whole because Franklin Myers has mastered that. This development was crucial for Vance Joseph to be able to call tons of nickel and dime formations against the Raiders and Chiefs in recent weeks. He's challenging teams to beat the Denver Broncos' defensive line in the ground game. And guess what happens? They can't. Jamar Cain said Franklin Myers does the dirty work that nobody sees. And seeing him come back in 2025 training camp, embrace the challenge of improving against the run with no ego at all, wanting to be coached, wanting to be held accountable, wanting to hear what he's doing wrong and having that open dialogue, Cain said it was incredible. And it's not just Jones that Franklin Myers is mentoring. He's pushing Eyioma Uwazurike. He's pushing Jordan Miller. He's pushing everyone in the room. Why? Because in Franklin Myers' mind, there's no individual gain in limiting the competition. He put it like this: when I was in Jones's position, as much as we're friends, you can bet that I know I have a family to feed. I want to be pushed because I want to be the best. If they're not pushing me to be better, then we're all at a disadvantage. You're only as good as the youngest guy in the group. That's the guy who probably has the most to learn, and it's our job to teach. And there you have it, family, if you're feeling what I'm feeling right now. If you're proud to be part of Broncos Country, you know what to do. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell, because here we bring this kind of content every day, showing the heart, soul, and character of this incredible team. Look, I'm going to be honest with you. When I started researching this story, I expected to find another one of those about a veteran being professional, doing his job, nothing major. But this is something else. This is leadership at its purest level. Franklin Myers isn't just being nice to Jones. He's literally investing in the team's future, even knowing he might not be here to see that future materialize. He's sacrificing any competitive advantage he could have by keeping his secrets. And you know why this is so powerful? Because when you create a culture like this, when you establish that this is how things work here, it spreads. Jordan Miller sees it. Uwazurike sees it. The other rookies see it, and they learn. This is how we do it in Denver. This is how we build something special. Sean Payton and Vance Joseph aren't just assembling a talented team, they're building a culture, an identity, a way of being. And guys like Franklin Myers are the building blocks of that foundation. Now, there's the front office question. And look, I understand both sides. On one side, you have a 29-year-old veteran who's producing, who's a leader, who's doing everything right. On the other side, you have a third-round rookie with immense potential and a much cheaper contract for the next 4 years. It's a business decision. I get it. But man, if I'm George Payton, I at least start a conversation. Even if it's just to show respect. Even if it's just to say, hey, we see what you're doing, we value it, let's see what we can do. Because guys like Franklin Myers don't grow on trees, and the message you send to the locker room when you treat veterans like this matters. It matters a lot. The young guys are watching. They're seeing how the team treats veterans who do everything right, who are professionals, who are leaders. And that influences how they behave when it's their turn to be the veterans. So yes, maybe it makes financial sense to let Franklin Myers go and invest in Jones. But there's an intangible cost to that too. A cost in culture, a cost in the locker room, a cost in showing guys, no matter how much you do right, in the end, it's just business. And look, Franklin Myers seems to be at peace with it. He said he has no bitterness, no anger. He knows how the game works. He's been through this before. Was cut by the Rams after playing in a Super Bowl, was released by the Jets. He survived. He'll survive again. But for me, Broncos Country, this isn't about whether Franklin Myers will be okay. He will. He's a professional. Some team will pick him up and be very happy. This is about what the Denver Broncos want to be, what kind of organization we want to be. And if we want to build something lasting, something special, we have to value guys like this. Because at the end of the day, championships aren't won just with talent. They're won with culture, with character, with guys willing to sacrifice their own success for the good of the team. And Franklin Myers embodies all of that. Let's talk a bit about the real impact Franklin Myers has on the field, because that's important too. We're not just talking about a nice guy who's good for the locker room. We're talking about a producer. Franklin Myers has 4.5 sacks in 11 games this season. It might not look spectacular in raw numbers, but those who watch the games know he's always there. Always in the backfield, always bothering, always doing the dirty work that frees up other guys to make the flashy plays. Vance Joseph's scheme depends on having a defensive line that can win individual matchups without needing much help. That frees up the linebackers to move around, frees up the safeties to play deep, frees up the secondary to be aggressive in coverage. And Franklin Myers is a crucial piece of that, especially against the run. Kane highlighted this. His development against the run game was huge from 2024 to 2025, and now he's one of the most reliable guys in the group in that aspect. Look at what happened against the Chiefs and Raiders recently. Vance Joseph put nickel and dime in for most of the game. That means fewer linebackers on the field. It means your defensive line is more exposed against the run, and Joseph only does this because he trusts the group. He trusts that Franklin Myers, Allen, DJ Jones, and Roach can hold it down. And they held it down. This trust that the defensive coordinator has in the line allows him to be much more creative and aggressive with the schemes, allows him to send pressures, allows him to vary the coverages, allows him to confuse quarterbacks, and it all starts with guys like Franklin Myers doing the dirty work on the line. When Jones eventually takes over as a starter, whether in 2026 or later, he'll inherit not just Franklin Myers' position, but also the responsibility. The responsibility to be that reliable guy, that guy who does the dirty work, that guy who frees up everyone around him to shine. And thanks to Franklin Myers' mentorship, Jones will be prepared for that. You know what's interesting, family? Franklin Myers' career is one of those that won't make the Hall of Fame. He'll probably never be an All-Pro, maybe never go to the Pro Bowl, but he's going to leave a very real legacy. How many players out there owe their careers to veterans who mentored them when they were rookies? How many guys came into the league lost, confused, overwhelmed, and had a veteran who took them by the hand and showed them the way? We can't quantify this. It doesn't show up in the stats. But it's real, it's powerful, and it changes careers. Syvion Jones will carry Franklin Myers' teachings throughout his entire career. And when Jones is the veteran in 8-10 years and has a rookie in the room, what will he do? He'll do what Franklin Myers did for him. He'll pay it forward, and that rookie will do the same. And the cycle continues. That's the culture we're building here in Denver. That's the Broncos Country mentality. It's not about individuals. It's about the collective. It's about elevating everyone. It's about creating something bigger than any one of us. Franklin Myers might not be here next year. He might sign with another team. He might make his money somewhere else. And we'll root for him because he deserves it. But his impact will remain. Jones will be here, and he'll carry the lessons. And he'll pass them forward. And 5 years from now, when Jones is one of the best defensive ends in the league, when he's a leader of this team, when he's a name everyone knows, part of that will be because of John Franklin Myers. Part of that will be because of a veteran who could have been selfish, but chose to be selfless, who could have protected his secrets, but chose to share, who could have seen a rival, but chose to see a brother. And you, Broncos Country, you know why you love this team? It's not just because we win games. It's not just because Bo Nix is playing well or because the defense is dominant. It's because of moments like this. It's because of guys like Franklin Myers. It's because when you wear that orange and blue, you know you're part of something bigger. You know you're part of a family that values the right things, that values character, that values unity, that values sacrifice for the collective good. That's the difference between a team and an organization. Teams win games. Organizations build legacies. And the Denver Broncos are building a legacy. So when you see Franklin Myers on the field in the coming games, pay attention. Pay attention to the work he does. Pay attention to how he competes. Pay attention to how he leads. And when you see Syvion Jones eventually take over as a starter, remember that there was a guy who could have made that path much harder, but chose to make it easier. Remember that there was a veteran who put the team above himself. That's the DNA of the Denver Broncos. That's the essence of Broncos Country. Family, I'm going to tell you something. Football is brutal. It's a business. It's relentless. Careers end suddenly. Guys are cut. Guys are forgotten. It's the nature of the league. But every once in a while, you find a story like this. A story that reminds you why you love this sport. Not for the flashy touchdown catches or the spectacular sacks, but for the moments of humanity. For the moments when you see someone being bigger than the game. John Franklin Myers is being bigger than the game. And regardless of what happens to him next year, regardless of where he ends up playing, he's already won because he left his mark. Not just on the field, but in the hearts of his teammates, and that's eternal. So, Broncos Country, I want to hear from you. What do you think about this situation? Do you think the Denver Broncos should make an effort to keep Franklin Myers, or do you think it makes sense to bet on Jones and let the veteran go? It's a tough decision, and I want to hear from you. Drop in the comments what you think, and go ahead and leave that like. Share this video with all your friends who are true Broncos Country, because this is a story everyone needs to know. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, what are you waiting for? Here we bring Denver Broncos content every day, with deep analysis, with emotion, with passion, with everything you deserve as a fan of this incredible team. Until the next video, family, keep wearing that orange and blue with pride. Keep representing Broncos Country wherever you are. And remember, we're not just a team, we're a family, and families take care of each other. Until the next video, and as always, go Broncos.